Welcome. I hope you enjoy the conversation you're about to hear between me and another comedian regarding comedy and religion. These are conversations I'm calling Disorganized Religion. God bless, and for those atheists out there, may nothing await you after this life.
Welcome. I'm so excited for today's guest. You're back with us for Disorganized Religion. I, as always, am Seth Lawrence, and I've got the disembodied spirit of Travis Clyburn.
Dominus Patre, something Latin. Okay.
You don't even know it?
I'm not Catholic. I don't know.
I mean, it's Latin. Okay. We'll just ignore that and go right to the guest, who is hilarious. He and I met at, I think the first time was at the U.S. Comedy Contest.
In the finals.
Yeah, in the finals, the
nice.
Ice House. Mm-hmm. Very fun. And we immediately fell in love.
We did.
And
It's beautiful.
yeah, he's hilarious. You got to follow him, find him. He'll promote himself at the end. Brian Matthews.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I'm happy to be here. I waited all week for this. I listened to all the podcasts that you had up.
Yeah?
To prepare myself.
Yeah?
To see what level I could get to with you.
Sure,
So.
sure. What level of rage? What do you mean?
Yeah. Rage, insensitivity.
Oh, yeah. Go all the way.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah, let's go all the way with that. It'll be fun.
I have a little bit of a headache.
Uh-oh.
So if I'm short with you.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, it's because religion is stupid.
Do we need to put some laying on of hands?
We'll see.
Do we need to test your faith?
That might.
If you accepted Jesus as your savior. Televangelists, call in. Heal Brian Matthews.
Please.
From your house. I did get you the devil's medicine there with Mountain Dew,
dude,
so hopefully that helps out.
It is. I see. Now, I brought you a soda.
Yes.
And here's I'm going to get in.
Laced
I know
with
religion
alcohol
is the
or
second half
LSD.
of the
What'd you do?
podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm buying you this Huckleberry soda.
Yep. Here it is.
It's really good, by the way.
It's the best
It is
soda
fantastic.
in the world. And
Right.
one thing I hate about religion is I'm buying you a soda, and I'm wondering if God will allow you to drink this soda. Because I know Mormons are like picky on what they can drink.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is just another reason. Like
That
God
it's dumb.
sitting up there, like, ooh, the Mountain Dew, but the Huckleberry.
Yeah. No, I think the Mormons and soda thing comes from our belief on not drinking coffee or tea.
Okay.
And
I know it's like caffeine and not supposed to alter your.
we'll see a lot of people think that is the reason, but there's actually never been a clear cut. It's because of the caffeine that you can't drink it.
Okay.
This was, anyway, BYU, Brigham Young University, refused to serve caffeine on the campus. It's a church-run campus, university. And that only led to more of these conspiracy theorists contrary to caffeine. I love Mountain Dew. I'm going to come out and say it.
Where I'm from, we call it the nectar.
Yes, the nectar of the white trash gods.
Yeah, that is what it's called. I wrote this long. So
Yeah.
our district office has a vending machine. And it didn't have Mountain Dew in it, so I wrote a full page letter to the guy that owned
Yeah.
the vending machine demanding that they put in the nectar of the gods.
Beautiful.
I'll try to find that letter.
Beautiful.
Later, but now it has Mountain Dew.
Oh, so you won.
I did win.
Well done. Congratulations. It always feels good to get one. Every once in a while, you know? I'm glad you made your cause Mountain Dew.
Because, when else have white people like us caught a break?
I mean, it's just gotten more and more tough, you know?
That's harder.
Jeez.
So much harder.
At least Dave Chappelle's on our side,
man.
right? I mean,
That was so great.
oh my goodness. Let's talk about your history in comedy.
All right.
And we can be as brief with that as you want.
Sure.
Because I know you love religion
we-
so much and can't wait to
can
talk
talk
about
about
your love. Yeah.
What's today? September or something? So,
Second.
gosh.
Yeah. It's
October 22nd is
second.
my comedy birthday.
Oh,
And
wow.
that would be 2 years.
Why October 22nd? Did you pick that day in
I
particular?
didn't get to pick it. So I started doing comedy just because like most of us, we thought we were better than what we were seeing.
Yeah,
I was at
right.
a show at the Ontario Improv, and
Okay.
some guy opened up. I don't even know who we were there for, probably Pablo Francisco or someone.
Yeah.
And the person was awful.
Really?
Beyond, and I was so enraged
Yeah.
that I just thought, God, I can do this.
Yeah,
And
sure.
my wife was like,
Then do it.
Then do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Not
No
in a mean
kidding.
way, like
Right,
very
right.
supportive way. She's like, do it. It
See,
wasn't
my
like,
wife
"Where'd
would have
it
been
go?
like,
Do it,
shut up and
idiot."
go.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So I signed up for a class, not so much because I thought I needed the help with the writing, but because I saw that at the end of the class you got 5 minutes at the Hollywood Improv.
Got it. Yeah.
So I did it, and it was mainly like a bucket list thing that I wanted to just do and try and be on stage. And the first time I ever got up on stage, it was at October 22nd show, and it went so well.
Yeah.
I can't even describe. Like, for the first time ever on stage, I have the tape.
You just watch it every morning.
I just watch it. It's what gets me through most things.
Yeah.
You know, I've sent it off to the people in Florida. They're like, hurricane. I'm like, yeah, but watch this tape.
They need it in Bermuda right now, right?
Yes. So I just kept doing it because it's, you know, it felt. I mean, you've been on stage. You know what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know what it can feel like.
Yeah.
It doesn't always feel that way for me. I know it does for you.
So.
But for me, it's not always.
Yeah, most of the time.
Right. Right.
Same.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
What's up, Travis?
I just said same.
Oh.
Just killing it all
Heard the
time.
whispering of a spirit and thought, what? So how long was the class? Was it a 9
it
week?
was 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
Gotcha. How did everybody else do in the class?
Not great.
Not great.
Not great. No, it was not. It was not a fantastic show.
Yeah.
There was like 3 comedians that did well, and a whole bunch of them where you were just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And we kind of knew that. You know, I spent 6 weeks with these
Yeah.
people.
I mean,
We'd
you'd
go
see
into
that
class.
coming, right?
Yeah, we would have to write the week, and then during the class we would kind of go over what we wrote, and then we would go up in front of everyone and try out the material, and then give each other notes on it, and we would do that for 6 weeks.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And so we kind of knew what was coming.
Right. Right. Have you seen anybody else in that class since then that's still doing it?
I made really good friends with one of them, and then the show that we did was actually a combination of his 2 classes. So he had like a Saturday morning class, that was mine, and I think like a Wednesday night, and so we all joined for one show. So I'm really good friends now with the person who was in the other class that we met during that show, and then with someone that was in my class, I'm pretty good friends with. That I still talk to. But other than that, you know, the class ended. We did our show. It went well for me and these 2 other people, and we keep doing it. We're still both doing it, and everyone else has kind of quit. That was their last show. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah,
no, we couldn't get them even to come to a mic with us. They were
Really?
just like, we tried. We're good.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you know, they did their bucket list thing. It's for the best.
Yeah, I mean, I think more people should quit that quickly, to be honest.
There are some.
You know, we've been to open mics now for 2 years with a lot of the same people. And I'm just like,
really? Yeah.
time's up.
Yeah.
Preach.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I hear you. Well, if they're going to take notes, if they're going to ask for advice, take notes, and get better, it's one thing. That's why I just don't ask for advice. So
it's true. Well, you don't need
just plug on through. Yeah, get in the niceness now. So the capital now, so that when we get in. So wait, which year did you start? How long you been doing it? 3?
This
4
is my
years?
second
year.
So it'll be 2 years official next month.
Gotcha.
So I'm pretty
Congratulations.
fresh.
That's
Thank
so
you.
exciting.
Yeah, it's good.
So we
It's gone fast.
started almost the same time. You started later in the same year.
Okay.
Or earlier the year before, I think, is the way it worked out. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Nice. So why have you always been interested in comedy?
Yeah, I'm obsessed. I've always been obsessed. Back when I used to play baseball in college, me and my buddies, we would listen to all the stand-up specials, and we had Dave Chappelle's Killing 'Em Softly memorized.
Yeah.
And as we're running, you know, because college baseball is mostly running.
Sure.
And we were just recite the stand-up to each other on the field, and as we're, you know,
Is that
so
right?
It's just how we kind of pass time. Yeah.
That's
so
great. That's great. It's
Yeah,
hard to
just-
run when you're laughing, thoh.
it is, but it makes it more enjoyable.
Yeah, that's true.
I've just been obsessed with comedy.
Yeah.
And it was just something I knew I wanted to do eventually, but I never had the time, or I went to play college baseball in Missouri, so there's no stand-up.
Oh, is there
in
not
a small
much of a
town
market out there?
No, it was like a small town of 10,000 people.
Gotcha.
So there was nothing. So
Wow.
once I got back and kind of got settled, and then had that comedian bomb in front of me, and
yeah,
make
and that
me
was
angry enough to
motivation
try
enough.
it, yeah. That's what I did. So.
I wish other professions were like that.
Isn't that? Yeah.
Like a doctor, you know.
Like you
you
get
should not have
misdiagnosed, and you're like, no.
I could do this. Come back in 10 years.
Right.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right. Fascinating. So what do you do now? What is, are you doing comedy full time now?
Oh, I wish. I'm the principal of a charter school out in the Inland Empire.
Gotcha. And how do you like being the principal? Is it
It's
just-
actually fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
You used
people
to
always
teach
think-
before, right?
I did. I taught history, government, economics.
Mm-hmm.
People always think it's the kids that are awful, but the kids are great. It's
Yeah.
the parents
Yeah.
that really need to leave me alone.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have a worst parent experience that you would, or maybe a bad one? Representative?
Yeah, I mean, the parents are just so out there. We had one kid take another girl's car keys when she was at volleyball practice, and he was caught by the campus police drag racing in the parking lot.
With her car.
Exactly. He didn't have a driver's license.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we called Dad in, and we're explaining
Dad of the son.
the situation to him, and he got super angry at whoever gave him the car keys. He demanded to know where he got the car keys from.
Yeah, yeah.
Who should be held responsible?
Well, I mean, what was she wearing? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
So, and you're just like, he was caught drag racing without a driver's license. Well, who gave him the keys? And you're like, like this. So that's one of
interesting.
Many, so.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
I'm sure that kid's going to be a very well-balanced member of society.
Right. Just so responsible.
Right.
Ready for his own consequences. Did you like teaching or being a principal more?
Oh, man.
Or is
teaching,
it just
probably.
different?
Teaching's my favorite thing in the world. That's why I love comedy, because I feel like even though now I'm not in a classroom of 30 kids, standing up and talking, I get that with comedy, because there's always brief moments of teaching where you get 55 minutes, but you're always going to take 1 or 2 minutes to get in a joke or here or a story there. And so comedy gives me that outlet.
Yeah.
So I don't miss it as much anymore, as much as I used to.
Uh-huh.
And plus, being at a small charter school, I still get the opportunity. I taught ASB last year and video game design just because I had the time. So.
And wait, what is ASB?
Like the Associated Student Body, where they plan all the dances and all that stuff.
Right. I remember from my high school days. That's coming back now.
Tell me you weren't the ASB president.
Absolutely not. No. Close I got was running for vice president, and one of my good friends, a female, ran against me and slaughtered me.
Wow.
So that's why I hate women.
So it makes sense.
It's
like your supervillain origin story.
Yeah, exactly. Right? This is misogyny started there in high school, pretty late in life, really. I want to get into religion now. I don't know if there's anything. What do you like about doing comedy? I mean, why do you feel like you've been drawn to do comedy?
I feel like it's awesome when you talk about something that seems potentially obscure, and then you get that real big laugh, and then you feel like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that's thought this, or felt this.
Sure,
it's valid, and then you feel like there's more people on your side, because I think especially a lot of comedians. And I'm in no way depressed, but you see a lot of them going through depression and battling, and all those feelings and stuff. And the suicide rate is extremely high, because I just think that a lot of them just don't feel connected to people. And so this is a good way that connects me to people.
Yeah.
So that's why I love it.
Gotcha. And how do you feel about? There are so many teachers that also do comedy. How do you feel about them?
It goes back to the depression thing. I think when you're, God, to be a teacher today is just brutal, because the story I shared with you is not an isolated story. The parents are just on us.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because they just get no respect, and their schedules are brutal, and then everything is tough, and it's just like.
Yeah. Well, you get 3 months off though, right? So.
In theory, yeah.
No. There are lots of teachers in my extended family, and they get 0 time.
Yeah.
0 time off. So did you teach at the same school you're now a principal at?
I did.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm in my 10th year at this school.
Yes, you've been there for quite a while.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Nice. Was there a political uprising when you were chosen as president, or people just stepped in line and I mean dictator of your little country there?
It was
fine.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
people
good.
Like
no
me.
coups, no. Yeah. That's great.
For the most part.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Very fun. So you don't look at other teachers that do, or maybe you do, look at them the same way as like I look at some actors that also do stand up. It's like a necessary part. I don't know. Sometimes actors, I'm like, why are you here? Because you clearly don't care about doing stand up long term. You're just checking it off of a resume. But I guess, obviously teachers don't have to do it.
Yeah. That's always, when I see a lot of the teachers that are doing it, I always wonder, comedians in general, like, what's your goal with comedy?
That is
you
true.
Know what I mean?
For everybody.
Like, are you here just to blow off some steam?
Right.
Are you here to work on stuff because in 5 to 8 years you want to release a special?
Sure.
And
Do you have a grand message?
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why I'm in, is because I feel like a message I want to get to.
Yeah.
And some teachers I see do some things that are just like, what are you even doing?
Yeah.
I feel like you're, other than like risking your job.
Oh, right. Based on what they say.
Right.
Yeah. So what is your message, do you think? You feel like you found it? Are you circling it? Or what do you want your message to be as a
I have
comedian?
my message. I haven't gotten to it in comedy yet. I'm trying to work towards it. And it's basically like just be better towards each other. Like the reason we're here is for each other.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Like there's been moments in my life where you run into things where you're just like, oh my God. Like it completely shifts the way you see everything.
Sure.
And like I had one of these moments in a field trip. So we took our kids to the Museum of Tolerance.
Okay.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Where is that museum?
Somewhere in L.A. Right?
Okay.
I think.
I don't know. I've got to take my kids there. I got to look.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I never knew exactly.
So we took this tour and
Okay.
we're going around, and the tour ends with like a Q&A with a actual Holocaust survivor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And so we go and we approach him, and it's just us, like 3 teachers and like 15 kids, right?
Yeah.
And they sit down, and I don't remember this guy's name. I wish I did, but he was the most upbeat, happy-go-lucky person I've ever seen.
Sure.
And he's just answering these kids' questions, and they're just so good with him, and he's just going and going and going. And I'm in the back behind all the kids, bawling my eyes out.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because it wasn't anything necessarily that he had said yet, but I thought to myself, like, this guy is like the happiest guy I've met.
Right.
And he went through one of the worst things any of us could go through.
Right.
And so, you know, like I'll get up and I'll be in a bad mood. Like I stepped on my wife's sandal this morning, and I don't know, like if you've seen the Victoria's Secret sandals, but they hurt so bad. And I'm like, why? And I'm just like in a bad mood for like
of course.
30 minutes because my foot hurts. This guy went through the Holocaust and he wasn't in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And so that like that, and then one of my kids asked him like, how did you get through it? Like, what was your one thing that you used to get through this?
Yeah.
And he gave a one-word answer that I thought was just my whole philosophy of life now. He said,
Faith.
No. No, God's not real.
Yeah.
Grow up.
What
He said, he said friendship.
Interesting.
And he said, they hardly gave us enough to survive.
Yeah.
But what they gave us, when you paired it with what we all had, it was enough. And so he said they gave us the thinnest blanket ever that wasn't that warm.
Yeah.
But they gave us each one. And so when we laid all together, me and my 2 friends, and we made one big blanket, it was thick enough to be. Yeah, and so you're just like, friendship is what saved him.
Sounds like communism.
Not
is what saved him. I mean, just to be fair. You heard it here. Brian Matthews
communism works.
Is a communist. Friendship. That's amazing.
So that sat with me.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how to get that into a comedy set because it's such a good message, right?
Yeah.
And so I have to give speeches every single year at like graduation or 8th grade promotion.
Oh, sure.
And that's such a good message, but you can't bring up the Holocaust in an 8th grade promotion speech, right?
Of course you can. Every time.
I haven't figured out how to get that.
Do you have the deniers in your school or what?
No, but it's just like it's such a downer.
Just too heavy.
It is.
Yeah.
To get it's supposed to be like a happy-go-lucky day. Like grandma's there. Grandma's never visiting, but grandma's here, and she's like,
Of course.
What is this guy talking about? You know, and so that's such.
You also don't have the look of someone that can really tout
right
the Holocaust.
I know. I wouldn't have used the word tout, but
Well,
I get you.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Promote is also not quite the right word.
So yeah, so there's that.
Yeah.
That's like my whole outlook on life. is
Gotcha.
Friendship.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. So why not faith? Why not faith, Brian?
Gosh. I've wanted to. Like it looks fun.
Does it? Does
No,
it look
it's
fun?
terrible. I have rejected. Okay, so I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
I come from a Catholic family.
Gotcha.
And-
Devout Catholic? You'd go to mass every week?
Yes.
Okay.
When I say devout, so like I think my dad was raised at a Catholic school his whole life.
Uh-huh.
You know, they were taught by nuns and all that stuff.
Right.
I think if you held a gun to his head, I
Yeah.
don't think he truly believes it. I think it's like one of those things that it's like, well, we've always done this.
Oh, sure.
And so
Sure.
my mom too. So yeah, every single Sunday we would go, or more likely Saturday night, we'd go to Catholic mass. But I remember I rejected Catholicism and God in kindergarten.
Really?
I started at a Catholic kindergarten.
Yeah.
That's the church we went to.
Okay.
Teacher's teaching.
Yep.
We're learning about Jesus.
Yep.
A picture of Jesus falls off the wall.
Okay.
Shatters on the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. And the teacher gets real quiet and she goes, guys know the devil did that?" Seriously, she
Yeah.
says this. She says,
Interesting.
The devil was so upset that we're praising Jesus
Wow.
that he knocked that picture of Jesus off the wall.
Okay.
And kindergarten me was sitting there, and I specifically remember thinking to myself, well, that's like, for
Yeah,
several reasons. Like,
sure.
number one, to think, like, when you think about like the FBI and the NSA, like listening to people,
Okay. Yeah.
just to think of like the devil, like listening to this kindergarten class, like what are they
being
learning?
so concerned. Yeah.
Yeah, and then secondly, like, surely Jesus could have caught the photo, right? Like, who's more powerful here? Like, he's gonna knock it off, and like Jesus isn't gonna catch it. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
You know what I
All
mean?
right.
It was probably a nail.
Yeah. That
That's
just
all
gave
it
way.
was. Yeah.
Right.
And so, ever since then, I've just been like, my parents would drag me to church, and I read.
Uh-huh.
I would just read, and so I.
Book of choice?
Oh
Not
God!
the Bible, I
at
take
that
it.
age, it was Goosebumps. I was reading like Goosebumps, and then
Sure.
you get to the thicker R.L. Stein books,
Yeah.
and so it just like I was known as that kid in church who was reading.
Yeah.
I would sit on the end so that even when we stood up, and I don't know if you've been to Catholic
To
mass,
shake
you have to hold
hands with
hands.
everybody.
I'm
Yeah.
still reading. I'm holding someone's hand and I'm reading my book.
Hey, good day.
Yeah, and it was just peace be with you. But I
Yeah.
gotta finish this chapter. So
Interesting.
I've just never, I hung out with all these religious people in high school, and I went to their youth group church at this
Yeah.
Christian church down the street from my house, but mainly because most of my friends just did that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if they ever thought they could convert me. I think they knew pretty early on. I've been outspoken about it
Yeah.
my whole life, and my
Yeah.
parents just were like, you know what, he is who he is.
Yeah. Your own path.
Yeah.
So did you formally break, like, when did you, I would imagine you'd had the conversation at some point with your parents, like, I'm not going to mass anymore.
I think we just all were so busy. So I have two brothers. I'm in the middle,
Uh-huh.
and all of us played baseball. I played soccer. My little brother was in a band. Like, we all just did so much stuff that we got to the point where we had baseball games and just everything going on, and we just stopped going to church because it was just our extracurriculars got to be too much.
Gotcha. So everybody, the whole family stopped.
Yeah, and I think my parents now still go again now that we're all gone.
Uh-huh.
They still do it.
Yeah.
But
But you think it's more out of familiarity.
I think so. I think it's
Then-
more just to connect with people.
Uh-huh.
That's,
Yeah. Yeah, there is a huge social aspect to going to church, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, especially if
Gotcha.
you're from a small town, there's no one else to talk
right.
to.
That's
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is I think people think they have these religious experiences, or they think that they're connecting, but you're just connecting with people.
yeah.
Like I said, friendship.
Yeah.
That's what you're here
Gotcha.
for.
So you don't feel like you've ever had contact with God or the divine?
No.
What do you believe in then? Do you believe in anything?
I believe in us. I believe
Sure.
in,
Well, we're here.
I believe in people.
Okay.
I think history has a great track record, and there's always been terrible people, but then there's always been other people to clean that up.
Yeah.
And so, because one of my biggest pet peeves is you talk to people and you're like, oh, you don't believe in God? How do you get through life not believing in anything? And I'm like, I believe in us.
Sure.
Eventually, I
Yeah.
think we all do the right thing, or at least we want to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I believe that to be true. you know?
Gotcha.
So,
No afterlife.
no,
Nothing.
no.
See, and my thing is, why be good then? What's
Because that's what we're here for.
what do you mean we're here for that? How?
Just to
How are we here for that?
we're here to make life better for each other, I think. Because like the afterlife, one thing people always will say is like, how can there just be nothing? How can it
Sure.
be nothing?
Sure.
And my question to them is, what year were you born?
I was born in 86
Okay. Do you remember what it felt like?
of the 1900s, in case though.
Like, how long has the planet been around? Billions of years?
Billions of years?
Yeah.
Who
Do
knows?
you remember what it
3.5
felt like
billion
the
years?
billions of years before you were born?
Do I remember it?
Do you remember what it felt like?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
but
what,
see,
that's what it's going to feel
there
like.
is a
again.
religious reason for that.
Why
right?
is that?
We go through the veil. As we come down to earth, in order to be truly tested, we have to forget what it was like living with God. Right?
It's a test, man.
No.
No? How is that not? It's a closed book test.
That's
I
like
think we all had those in school.
That's like being neuralized, and then like
So
Yeah.
one
Sure.
thing that's fascinating about that is
Yeah.
not being neuralized, but the neurological stuff is
The Men in Black.
one thing I've actually
Yeah.
researched that fascinates me is near-death experience.
Right.
And my thought process is, okay, if everything was one true religion and one true meaning and everything,
Mm-hmm.
we would all have the same near-death experience, country
Okay.
to country.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they're dramatically different from country to country,
Yeah.
but the same in that country.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
So like Americans, we have this like, oh, we see the light and we go and we blah
Sure.
blah I think it was India that had like a clerical error was like their biggest near-death experience. Like they ended up somewhere, and the secretary was like, "Now's not your time. I don't know what to tell you."
Yeah.
And then they were like sent back.
Yeah.
And then I think Japan found themselves in this field with a very specific type of flower that they were running through, and then they were brought back. So it's country to country they have these different experiences, which makes you wonder like what's happening. What are they being
psychologically
raised as?
Yeah.
To all experience that same thing.
Yeah.
So, and then they've been doing a lot of stuff with mice, I think, where they're studying their brains and they're seeing this surge of energy right before they die, which is probably what's happening to us and what's triggering all these things that we see.
Yeah. So you explain it mostly as neurological.
Yeah,
it's just psychological programming. Yeah. Do you see any benefits to religion? Zero benefits. Other than maybe the social,
so is there anything in religion that you do that you can't do without being religious? And so people always assume, you know, oh, atheist, you know, I'll go home and I'm going to eat a baby or something.
Is that not what you do? Are not all atheists cannibals?
They are delicious.
Like, I'm involved in so many charities and, you know, volunteer work and stuff like that, that people are just like, well, how do you know to be good? What's your moral compass? And like, just be a good person. Do you not know what it feels like to be treated like
Yeah, of course.
Don't do that to someone else.
Right, of course.
And I live that as much as I can, except for on the PlayStation Network.
And that's where, that's why online is so bad.
I'm the most toxic PlayStation person.
What is the game of choice for you? Call of Duty?
Dead by Daylight.
Dead by Daylight.
Have you ever played that?
I have not.
So it's just 4 survivors trying to escape someone trying to murder you.
And you're just yelling at the other 3.
Oh, is that the one with like a Jason-looking guy chasing you?
No, that's Friday the 13th. It's similar to that, though.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
There's
one so many small ways in the game to troll people.
And you do them all?
Yeah. But then it's like people will message me afterwards because I'll play as the survivor and the killer. And then as the killer, there's a lot of ways to troll people.
Gotcha.
Big dick about it.
Yeah.
Is it the one where you can put people on hooks?
Yes, that is the one.
Yeah. I've watched that played. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so they'll message me first. And then I'll show you some messages after the podcast.
Interesting. But, I'm excited.
I'm not. Other than that, I'm a fantastic person.
Sure.
But if you catch me on PlayStation.
And that's really your essence, is who you are on PlayStation. Behind closed doors, Brian. That's who you really are. And if you had religion, you'd be better.
That's who I play on stage.
I do think video games are such an important catharsis if you're competitive.
Right.
Because it's like I was raised, my dad's a total so it's like he's super competitive, and I know I have that in me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to get this out on 13-year-olds on PlayStation.
Yeah, because I really didn't play through college when I was playing baseball, and then when baseball ended, and you're like, I need this outlet.
Yeah.
And for a while, it was online poker.
Right.
And then they canned online poker.
Right.
And then I'm like, I got to find something else.
Yeah.
And
do you find it just makes you rage, though? I find it makes me rage. I've got to cut back because
no. Well, what are you
I
playing?
just get mad. I just play dumb mobile games on the phone.
Mobile.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
Like,
maybe I just have a problem.
Like
maybe
I have a whole bit on
my wife
how,
is right.
You know, video games don't make us violent, and if anything, it makes us less violent.
Interesting.
I think it's good to get that out. I mean, that's why I
should send you anyway.
You play GTA at all?
There's a paper that I should send you.
Grand Theft Auto is a great catharsis as well.
Yeah, GTA. I've played GTA in the past.
You don't feel better about that? Like you've had a really bad day.
Yeah.
You go into GTA, you steal a car, you run down some hookers, and like I'm good.
You know,
for like
what?
a day and a half, I'm fine.
I don't. What I do is I pick them up and take them to church, and I feel much better.
Oh man.
Oh boy. So okay. So what have you had? How bad do you? Is it a hatred of religion or is it a dislike? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's probably a hatred, honestly.
Is it?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, what do you know about the Sikh religion?
Not much.
Okay, do
not
you know
much.
why?
Why?
Because they shut the up about it.
Okay.
That's why.
I mean, I have met them and talked to them.
But they're not ramming it down anyone's throat.
Sure.
They're not trying to pass laws that go behind what they believe. And that's where my frustration comes from. Is like, you know probably as much about Christianity as you do about anything, just because it's out there.
Well, I am Christian,
and they're
yeah. That's one reason.
They're just shoving it down your throat every chance they
get.
get.
Yeah.
And then that would be fine if it was just that, but then to play the victim and say, "Oh, we're being persecuted for this and for that," and as an atheist, you're like, tell me how.
Sure.
Like, did you go to a hotel and did you open the drawer and was there Darwin's Book of Evolution that you were forced to sit with?
That doesn't bother me,
what
actually.
the fuck happened?
Evolution?
Like,
I would read that book.
But there's so many examples like that.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
like
Well,
I have a thing about getting my
atheists-
master's done at a Christian school because that's the only thing that was available to me at the time. And
Right.
it's just like, you know, they put you in classes you don't want to take because it's a Christian school. It's
Yeah,
just-
yeah.
There's just so many examples that follow that we have to sit through. We elected a black president before an atheist one. We will elect a woman. We will elect a gay president before an atheist one.
Yeah.
I don't know that we will ever be able to elect an atheist one in our lifetime.
Now, let me ask you, do you really think Trump is a Christian, or do you think he's an atheist?
I don't think he's a Christian, but I don't think he's an atheist.
What is he? What
I
do you
don't
think
think
he
he's
is?
ever taken a moment to think about
You don't think he
anything
cares?
other
I
than
think-
10 feet in front of his face.
I think if you hooked him up to a lie detector test and asked him if there was a possibility that he was like a reincarnation of a god, he would probably say yes.
And pass.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I don't
Interesting.
I don't know. He
Yeah, I don't
probably
know
believes
either.
in God.
Yeah.
I would say. I don't think he's an atheist.
Yeah.
Here's why. This is going to sound mean. But if I took
I hope so.
Okay, so here's atheist.
Yep.
If I had to line all my friends up.
Okay.
Okay, atheist,
3 of them.
super religious.
Yeah.
And if I draw the line from not religious
Uh-huh.
to atheist, these people right here are the smartest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
Not to say that these are the dumbest,
Yeah.
but they're also the dumbest.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
I think that is one
And
stereotype that is
working in
made often.
academics, like I have
Yeah.
a lot of friends with PhDs, and
Yeah.
they're all the most atheist people you've ever met.
Sure.
And so it's just, I don't want to say it's like a smart person thing,
Yeah.
but
It's kind of a smart person.
But what do you
There's-
say about like Einstein? Because Einstein still believed in divinity. And he was clearly, or maybe you don't think
it's
he was a
entirely
smart
possible his
individual.
intelligence might have been overrated at the time.
Oh,
I honestly don't know a
man.
lot about his faith.
Yeah,
be
I think
honest.
there are lots of smart people that believe in God.
But do they
You know?
believe because they truly believe, or are they like my dad, who they probably just show up because their mom made them?
Well, and I mean, who knows,
You
right?
know, it's
who
familiar
knows?
to
Who
them.
knows? And maybe there are some people that, and these religious people would be way dumber without religion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? But I think there are smart people on both sides of the argument.
Yeah, but the people
Right?
that are most vocal are not your best people. Like when Lindsey Graham's
I
out there
mean,
running his mouth and Mike
I don't count them as my
Huckabee-
people.
We
you know? I know, but is that fair? Is that
Who's
fair?
your people as
Mitt
Latter-day
Romney.
Saints? Oh, yeah, Mitt Romney.
Mitt Romney, but I wouldn't qualify him. I mean, I guess he's an intelligent guy, but
You know what?
as far as like
I would say he's
spokesman for the
intelligent.
church,
Yeah.
the leadership of the church, right? Like the prophet, the 12 apostles, those are formally the spokespeople for the church.
Who's
And
the
they're not
like,
idiots.
head-
They're brain surgeons. They're
That's what blows my mind. is-
yeah. I mean, there's one guy that.
But so is Ben Carson. You know what I mean?
Well, sure, but you know, I've met some pretty dumb atheists. You know, they
Have
just
you?
don't know why they believe nothing.
Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if I've ever really met a really dumb. That's a good.
I've met a few people that maybe just say they're atheists because all their friends are, and they've never actually taken the time to figure it out for
They
themselves.
Yeah.
secretly go home and
Yeah, I mean,
It's
people
not
who
even that they
don't
yeah.
handle snakes. and
take time to figure out why they believe what they believe.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, but I
I
don't
ju-
know that makes them dumb necessarily.
I don't know if I've ever taken the time, but I just feel like, have you ever seen someone do a magic trick that you know how it's done,
Yes.
and then you see other people in
React
wonder
to
and
it.
awe, and you're just like,
Yeah. Yeah,
But for you, you're like,
yeah,
you kind of know.
sure.
I feel that's how I feel looking at religion.
Yeah,
That's an egotistical thing to say. Like I've
No,
got
I
this
think
shit
it's fair.
figured out, you guys.
but I think a lot of atheists have that mentality.
Yeah.
Because when people talk about leaving Christianity or leaving religion in general,
Mhm.
in this country it typically is Christianity that they're leaving. It's like I got out
Right.
of this
like
cult.
A cult.
Yeah. And I'm not quite sure why it is spoken of that way.
Yeah.
You know?
And that stuff's always fascinating to me. I did my senior paper in college on Jonestown. So
Uh-huh.
I wrote this 40-page paper on Jonestown. And I had to like completely abandon all of it because I was for 2 weeks leading up to that. I was reading every book on Jonestown and
Yeah.
just writing this paper, and then I started having nightmares
About
Jonestown.
Is that
every
right?
night, yeah. And so once it was done, I was like, I tried to just purge it from my brain
yeah.
because it was just so terrible. And you're just like,
Interesting.
you get to a point where like, how can people even follow this? And then I think, I don't want to say we're here now with the president, but like he just does one thing after another, and you're like, how can people follow this? Like, what is and I don't think
Yeah.
it's not following that as much it is rejecting the other side. I don't think they're super big Trump lovers. I just think they love the fact that it's sticking it to the libs, you know, and they just our misery is better than their victory. If that makes sense.
You don't think it goes both ways? I think it goes both ways. You know, there have been lawsuits like getting God out of all sectors of society. And I feel like, you know, no one's...
Well, the Founding Fathers...
Well, see, that's why I love the Church of Satan.
Well,
because you've seen the stuff that they're doing.
Yeah. I think it's funny.
Yeah, because they come in and they're like, okay, if you're going to pray at this, we're entitled to equal time.
This.
And then so and so I think that's fantastic because it opens their eyes and says like, oh, I can see how possibly other groups might feel now, but they still don't see it.
Right.
They're still pretty blind to it. And it's just like...
Well, it's because it's not a genuine religion, right? Like that's...
Says who?
Yeah, I know. That's the difference, right? What were you saying, Travis? The Founding Fathers what?
Well, you were talking about lawsuits to get stuff out of... get religion out of places. Which, I mean, that's one of the founding principles of the country, separation of church and state. Yeah. And I feel like nobody violates that more than...
than Congress that starts
evangelicals
every meeting with a prayer?
Yeah. I can't believe that that's a thing. I mean, that's Reagan's America, though, ever since Reagan. Everybody.
I think that had been happening before.
I don't believe so. It's not as prevalent. Reagan and Bush are the two most religious idiots that have ever been in office.
So what makes that okay, so I guess what I understand is from a negative on religion, typically the argument is this groupthink mentality that if you are, for example, homosexual, you're a terrible person, and you need to be expunged, right? But I don't think that's a religious thought. Like that's contrary to everything that Christianity professes, right?
Yeah,
to love your neighbor and...
That's what is so infuriating, though, is because without religion, progress would be made so much faster. Because would you agree? No, hear me out.
Okay. Go on.
We have take everyone in America that's going to church.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And we want to pass a law allowing gay marriage.
Yeah.
How many of these people, without the church telling them where to stand, actually give two about it?
Sure.
10, 20, 30.
A minority of them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But now that the church has to voice their opinion and say, this is what you're supposed... Like, why would you be in a group that tells you what you're supposed to believe about something?
Sure.
That's what's infuriating to me.
Gotcha.
It's like they might have otherwise been okay with it.
Yeah.
But now that this group is telling them to lean the other way, now they're just discriminating against this entire section of people.
About political parties? Because political parties do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and it's
it's
terrible.
It's terrible.
It is. No, I'm not.
I guess my issue with your example of marriage, I don't think government should be involved with marriage at all. I think marriage should just be a religious right. Just have, I mean, they do it right as far as I'm concerned in France. Have a civil union and then let church carry out whatever sacraments or church ordinances they want.
Okay.
But everyone's civilly unioned, right?
That's fine. Where do you stand on people being able to deny other people's services because of religion?
In a private company?
Yeah.
Fine. Let it happen.
Why is that fine?
The cake? You're talking about the cake case in Colorado, right? Go to a different cake shop.
What if that's the only cake shop?
If I'm going to go
to a
it's
place
not about
and
the
cake,
like,
though.
Look, you believe in Jesus, you need to go somewhere else.
But it's not about the cake.
Okay, I'm going to go
The
somewhere
cake
else.
is the first step. So the small town I go to college in, there's one surgeon.
Yeah.
And he's Muslim.
Yeah.
And he's not going to operate on you because you're Christian.
Yeah.
And it's life or death, and the next town is literally an hour away.
Yeah, but then
you're cool with that.
He is not really Muslim then. Right? No, Muslims and Christians by the Quran get along.
But isn't that
they
Christian
are people of the book
cake baker
in Quran.
Also not really Christian then?
I don't think so. No, he should love his neighbor, but I think it's his right to be like, look, I don't want to serve you.
Why would that be anyone's right to not serve anyone?
And healthcare is different than a cake.
But you're talking about someone using religion as a judgment on whether or not I'm going to help you with something.
Yeah, right.
Surgery or cake. It's a dramatic leap from one to the other, but it's the same thing. You're not the religion I want you to be, therefore I'm not going to provide a service to you.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But, I mean, was there only one cake shop in Colorado? I'm just saying the analogy
But it's not about the cake.
down.
It's about where it gets to in the overall scheme of society.
Well, you have to have a similar comparison. And
that is the same thing.
No, it's not.
It's I'm
one
providing
doctor.
a service. Okay, I'm a principal.
Among 20 principals.
I run the best school in the area.
Yep. Yeah.
You can't come to my school because of your religion.
Right. Okay. Well, it's a charter school, so
school of choice.
Yeah,
you're trying to come here because all
absolutely.
the schools around are. but I don't let you because your religion's wrong.
I guess I have to homeschool my kid.
That's
or send them to a bad school and supplement their education. Yeah, I'll stand by it. I'll stand by
that's
someone's.
Terrible.
Why is that terrible?
Because that's not what we should be doing. We should be
But
having.
that's not what you're asking.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Why should we impose, like, I don't think laws should be about this morality stuff. That's my issue, right? Like, I believe people should have their choice to serve or not serve, as opposed to being forced to serve everybody.
Well, I agree with you, Seth, mainly because I think we should know who sucks. You know what I mean? Like,
and just let
it's
them
important to know.
Self-declare.
Like when
That's
people
what
were trying to ban the Confederate flag shirts and stuff. I'm like, no, we need to know who sucks. We need to know.
Yes.
Yeah, so if like
let them mark themselves.
This is the place that wouldn't make the gay cake.
Yeah, and don't go to his cake shop.
Banning stuff like that isn't the same. I'm fine with not banning stuff because, like you said, you definitely need to know who the is.
Right. Yeah. Of course, of course. But I believe choice is super important. You know, because
to me, it's never about the cake.
Way,
it's
right?
always
like
the moment you let the person say no. Who else can say no?
Yeah.
That's my big thing. It's like, oh, I'm a pharmacist. I'm the only pharmacist in town. You need to pick up your insulin.
Yeah, but why do you always have to go to the only one in town? Because that's not an accurate issue.
Because you live in LA. You have no.
I haven't always lived in LA. You know,
like for other people.
Yeah.
If you live in this remote section and you don't have the money to do anything else, I can't travel anywhere else. I can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. So there's a lot of instances where that is the only one. It truly is.
Well, maybe the best one. Maybe the best one. But I still think I would rather live in a world where people have the choice to deny or allow, even based on arbitrary.
What if they deny to make a cake for a black person?
Yeah, then you're getting tricky, right? But there are laws against that now.
Well, shouldn't there be laws against doing that to religion people?
See, and here's the thing. I don't think sexual preference is the same as race.
Why? Neither of them are chosen. You're born either way.
See, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Deep.
This is where we're getting deep.
So how old were you when you chose to be heterosexual?
Every day I wake up and I say to myself, I like vagina today.
You made that choice?
Every day.
Every day, just swatting the penis thoughts out of his mind.
think right. No, there's definitely not a conscious choice, right?
Yeah, you're born right on it. Another.
Yeah, I mean, there's studies that suggest it's super genetic. Yeah.
Yeah. So how is it different? He brings up a great point.
Well, one, you can, I don't know. I don't know how it's different. One's right, one's wrong. That's all there is to it.
That's the most Mormon answer you could have given. When did God say it was okay for blacks to start joining the Mormon Church? It was in the 70s, right?
It was pretty late. Yeah.
It was it was like days before you guys were going to lose tax exempt status.
So
right?
to clarify, it was about a week before.
Yeah.
To clarify, it wasn't about them joining the church. It was about them receiving the priesthood. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they could join, but they couldn't.
Yeah. They could not officiate in the priesthood until the mid 1970s, somewhere around there.
I think it was 1978.
Yeah, but it was also, I think, just incorrect. And our church has actually put out some essays on some
to let them join
controversial. No, that was the problem.
I was going to say, clarify
that was the issue.
Don't clarify for us. Clarify for YouTube.
To prevent them from receiving the priesthood was wrong. Before there were many members of the Church of African descent who had the priesthood. They stopped at some point for this arbitrary reason that nobody really knows.
Gotcha.
A lot of it, I think, had to do with slavery being allowed in where they were trying to establish Zion at the time. So there's some problematic letters that have been that were written by some church leaders when they were trying to get accepted in Missouri, for instance.
Gotcha.
That basically were like, hey, we're going to stop letting blacks join our church because, but it might have been that they just didn't want trouble. So, who knows?
Gotcha.
Who knows? But the church has now said that was probably a mistake.
Yeah.
It's it's an imperfect organization.
Gotcha.
Right?
Of course.
But the gospel's perfect. So.
Well, where do you guys stand on Chinese?
Yeah.
Is that?
What do you mean? The language? It's great.
Not the
Chinese,
food.
the people? What are you talking about?
Yeah. I've
What do you
never
mean?
met a Chinese Mormon.
You just haven't met many Chinese people. You know, there are a few billion.
I've been to
of them.
China.
There are billions
I
of them.
spent 2 weeks.
Sure.
Do you guys? So
There are
in all your
people
mission,
in,
where'd you do your
Hong Kong
missionary
that are
work?
Mormon. I was in Montreal, in Canada, Eastern Canada. Yeah, we
makes
talked to some
sense.
Chinese people up there that
Did
were
you?
Mormon. Yeah, yeah, they have whole Mandarin branches and wards.
Wow.
Those are congregations of
Okay.
people of different sizes. They're out there. There are billions of these people out there.
Yeah. No, historically, it's just.
But you know, I mean, also China was not a Christian country for centuries.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I still think it's not.
It's
Yeah.
also
No, that's another thing that.
communist country that allows certain things in and doesn't.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I'm saying. Does your church send people? Because I know I've had friends go over
Yeah.
for like religious reasons, and they have to lie about why they're
they're there.
Yeah,
What do you mean? What do
Because
you mean lie? Like they say we're not proselyting, and then they proselyte.
yeah. Like we're not going to try to convert anybody. We're
Then
just going to travel. And
They
then
should be
they're-
beheaded.
That's
Those
all.
people should be beheaded.
Is that too much to ask? That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you lie?
No, there are missionaries that go and are asked to do non-proselyting missions, which means service only.
Okay.
You know, they're helping, I don't know, plow fields, build farms, like whatever, build houses. Who knows? You know,
Okay.
run visitor centers that are
Gotcha.
there. But it's different when someone proselyting is going out and advertising
Mhm.
your faith.
Mhm.
It's different if you're approached by someone asking about your faith. You're no longer proselyting at that point. You are discussing
Okay.
what they want to discuss.
Gotcha.
So like I served in Eastern Canada, and we were told not to proselyte to Muslims because it puts them in an awkward position with their own religion.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't, but we would be out on the street and be approached by Muslims and being asked, you know, what is it that you guys are talking about? Because there's only one God, and you guys are blasphemous.
Now, when you're in Canada, are you running around on bicycles?
I did not. I was in a car. But there were some missions in Montreal on the island itself that used bikes and metro.
What is with the bicycles? Can you explain that to me?
It's two wheels that run based on a gear system.
It's 2019. Like, how come
Sure.
you guys haven't upgraded to Segways? or
Segways?
something.
Yeah, bird
'Cause
scooters.
Segways are stupid. Would you talk to anybody on a Segway?
I wouldn't talk to a Mormon on a bicycle.
Well, you wouldn't talk to a Mormon at all, other than when
That's
I
true.
bring you here.
I want to say,
on
and I'm
the
sad
illusion
to say
of
this.
fame.
One of my favorite memories that I actually took a picture of and uploaded to Facebook years ago.
Uh-huh.
I'm driving, and I used to live up in Victorville, and there's this Mormon with his buddy, and his bike tire was flat.
Oh no.
And so I just took a picture of it and just kept driving, and I'm like, the Lord works in mysterious ways. I don't know what you're gonna do.
Preventing him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was
Because
hysterical.
that's what I believe. Every little thing
It's to
is
God.
a product of God.
It has to be.
Yeah.
How could you not?
How could you not? I don't actually believe
No.
that.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
I believe in, I guess, sort of a mixture of the clockwork God, right? He sets things in motion.
Mhm.
And I don't think everything that's good or bad happens directly because of him, right?
Like a simulation
someone's-
creator.
Right, kind of.
Right, you
Yeah,
make a
and then
Sims
steps
game.
in when he
Other
needs
Sims are
to.
just doing.
When he wants to, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, but
I
you can
don't know.
switch the Sims you control. You know.
Yeah. Right. He's just all powerful when it comes to switching around. But no, I think part of our experience here on Earth is to have bad things happen to us
Mhm.
and have good things happen to us and make our best decisions going forward, you know? And I guess for me, a lot of that end game is the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
So I struggle understanding why would you, I mean, okay, so you want to make this experience good,
Mm-hmm.
but are you not self-interested, or do you really believe self-interest is deferring to other people's comfort? You know, like
Yeah.
I would take, if I were atheist, I would take candy bars at the self-checkout.
So
Who
if
are you hurting there?
a
you know?
business owner,
No.
yes,
By like what? $1?
so
You're
is your
also
stance?
self-checking out. They're not paying anybody
Religion is the only thing keeping you from not being a
from
dickwad
murdering everyone.
society.
Absolutely.
Is that true?
I think there is some truth to that.
You don't possibly
Yeah.
think that you
there are
could be
certainly things
atheist
that I would have done.
and be a good person at the same time.
I think you can.
Okay.
I just think you're an idiot.
So you think by all the volunteer work and stuff that I do and being honest,
You're wasting your time.
that it's a waste of time, that it's for nothing?
Yeah. It's
But
all,
if it makes-
nothing happens afterward, no, you're making other people happier.
But that's on
Which is
something
great
that you
for
think
this
may or
moment.
may not happen or could happen.
Yeah.
Our experience and our happiness here right now is a guarantee.
Right. Right.
So why wouldn't you focus on making better what's guaranteed? If we wiped religion out completely and the focus was on how can you make someone's life better today.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you imagine what the world would look like?
But why would you focus on making everyone's life better today?
Because we're here today.
Yeah, but so? I mean, wouldn't you
don't know
focus
where
on
you're
your
gonna be
own
tomorrow.
life? Wouldn't you focus on your own life being better today?
It would be.
Because other people's lives are better?
So in the
when
studies
everyone
that-
else is happier, you're happier.
Yeah. In the studies that they do where we're trying to gauge happiness and it's like, okay, these people, are they happier when they make more money? They're not. They find that they're happier when they give.
Yeah, right. Sure. Okay.
So if we're all giving to each other,
Yeah.
we're giving, we're happier. We're receiving, we're happier.
Yeah.
We're happy.
Yeah.
Life's better.
Yeah. I mean, to be genuine with you, I think it is important to make our lives better. But I don't understand quite how you achieve that. I guess really it's like an envy, right? There are definitely things that I would do differently without religion. And I don't think I would be as inclined to be as good as I am trying to be.
So you do it because you think someone's possibly watching you and you're getting credit for it?
Kind of, yeah. You know?
Okay.
And that it'll be better for me also in the long run. Right? With the afterlife, with judgment, and all that.
See, I still think I don't believe in God,
Yeah.
but I truly think the life that I live and the way the reason I'm okay with it is if God exists and he sees what I'm doing, I think he's going to give me a pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
sure.
I
mean,
100%
you'll have to
believe
be
that.
baptized after you die into my church, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I
mean, I already look like a Mormon.
You're so close. You're so close. Just some things on the inside we have to change.
Just got Mountain Dew and...
I do think... No, Mountain Dew is totally fine. God drinks it. I think...
God drinks Mountain Dew.
God made Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Deep.
All good things come from him.
Satan made Baja Blast, though.
Yeah.
You ever had Baja Blast?
Gosh, the worst.
They do
Kill
make Baja
yourself. Who
Blast
makes
Zero
worse?
now, though.
Yeah.
And,
They have what?
They're Baja Blast Zero now, though, and I got the diabetes, so...
Well, I mean, there are lots of zero sugar options out there.
It's true, but they don't pair that well with tacos.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, fair enough.
I'm like a Mountain Dew sommelier.
Oh, my gosh. This has been such a fascinating discussion.
It has.
Thank you so much for coming on, Brian.
My pleasure. It didn't get as intense as I know you wanted it to.
Well, you know, I was hoping for screaming, overturned tables. Maybe next time. Time. But you are a good person. God's going to look at you and be like, yeah, fantastic individual.
I think so.
And he's going to look at me and be like, thank goodness you had me.
Right.
That's what he's going to say.
That's well. I took to you immediately, even though you were Mormon.
Despite
I had a good feeling.
I'm not going to ask where I fall on the spectrum.
No, that's what bothers me is I feel like you know, talking to someone.
Yeah.
And it's like I call it the eye test. You can look into someone's eyes and talk to them for a few minutes and be like, okay,
you're high.
There's not a lot going on back behind them.
Uh-huh.
You know, and you're a genuinely smart person.
Yeah.
And it just that's why I was like
baffles you.
My idea for our TV show.
Yes.
Where it's like, okay,
So
I'm
good.
going to bring you closer to atheism. You're going to try to bring me closer to Christ. I think it would be so perfect.
You know what I loved is your subliminal, I'm going to bring you closer to atheism, and you're going to try to bring me closer.
Is that what I said?
Yeah. It's beautiful. Isn't that what he said, Travis, or did I mishear it?
I think it's about right.
I'm going to watch the tape.
How old were you when you were like, you were willing to dig in and say, you know what, I'm 100% religious?
Like, this is it?
Yeah.
I think it was about 11.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Finished the Book of Mormon on my own for the first time.
You read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And prayed about it and felt very deeply that it was a true book, that it had actually been written and by those who, I mean, obviously it's a real book, but that it had been written by ancient prophets and that it taught truth about Christ, about God, about humanity.
Okay.
Now, that being said, there's some problematic portions of the Book of Mormon. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how I feel about those.
Has those problematic. Just do what everyone else does and
explain it away.
Oh.
Yeah.
Pretend they're not there.
Yeah. I don't know. There's something to be said for some cultural influences in a book, but, you know.
Yeah. To me, I think every one of those books is so obviously written by someone in that time period that it's just
really?
Like, yes.
So you think Joseph Smith wrote the book, like on his own, or a team of people wrote the book, collaborated
Wasn't he already
in
like,
the 1800s?
Didn't he get run out of somewhere else for trying to aren't there court records that indicate he was somewhere trying to peddle this stuff, and they're like, get the out of here, crazy person.
He
and
was
then he went
convicted
somewhere
for forging maps.
He was bouncing around until someone bought it.
Yes.
Is that what happened?
His family did travel around a lot.
Okay.
His dad was kicked off of different farms, or they hit like financial troubles.
Gotcha.
But yes, he was. I think actually, what the history that I'm aware of, based on documentation, is
That's an important part.
that he was brought to court for fraud,
right?
And those charges were dismissed.
Oh, okay.
Because the people who were actually affected by the alleged fraud said, no, we hired him for this specific purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. He was touted as a treasure hunter, which I guess was a very popular thing in
the 1800s,
in the 1800s to be looking for treasure with magic sticks and stones and whatnot. So I guess it was part of the culture back then. But yeah, he was touted for these things, you know? But maybe that's because he actually would believe it.
Yeah.
And not everybody would believe it.
All right.
So, but yeah, there's some problematic issues. Sure.
It's not isolated to Mormonism.
No. And nor should it be. Because if any religion were 100% pure, everyone would believe it,
we would
right?
all be it, yeah.
Yeah. And you all will be.
See, that's the thing. Like,
we'll get you eventually.
One thing that really bothered me is when the Notre Dame Cathedral caught on fire. And everyone was just like, "Oh, thank you, God!" Like, the cross inside was untouched. And like, wasn't it made out of gold? And I'm like, okay,
even if not,
you firmly believe that God was looking. Let's put every religion's sacred artifacts into one building.
Yeah.
Let's douse it with gasoline.
Sure.
Let's light the thing on fire.
Yeah.
Whichever artifact remains, we all join
real.
that religion.
I think you really identify with people in the Old Testament. Right? Those are your people.
Yeah.
Let's test
God
over and over again.
Kill your firstborn.
And see what happens.
Right. Cut this skin off. Just.
Yeah, I love it. Brian, is there anything you want to plug other than atheism?
I'm on Instagram at #funnybrian. That's also my Twitter.
Misnomer, because he's hilarious, as you can tell.
Well, thank you. I'm in the World Series of Comedy Top 101 in 3 weeks in St. Louis.
You're like top 5, though. Ooh. Why do you go down to top 101? You're
of
like
the top
10.
101, I'm definitely in the top 95.
Yeah.
I think. But no, I was a late addition, so I'm like definitely the bottom 10.
Oh, really? I thought you were like number 4 or something.
That's just like on the list of my show.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it had me at like number 3 on that picture.
Gotcha.
I know, that's what my mom called me, and she's like, "When are you going to be on the Tonight Show?" I'm like,
next week.
Oh, God.
Well, just think what you could have accomplished with God in your life.
Like a talk show.
Oh.
Just to send to my mom, like a 5-minute set of me.
Just killing.
Yeah.
I'll have you on my clean. I do a clean like late night type show. We'll have you there. It's you got to be clean on late night though. Clean-ish.
You know what? I'm finding I'm cleaner than I originally thought.
Yeah, you're fine.
People are like, oh, you got to be clean. I'm like, oh,
you're
I'm
dark,
and then
but you're fine.
Yeah, I don't really get into too much. That's just terrible. So, but no, I don't really have anything else to plug. I do have a show. We're having like a benefit show, but it's in December, like December 21st in Covina. So I'm going to post that.
Probably won't air till Christmas. So.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah, you can plug that in West Covina, you said? Or in just Covina?
I don't know. I saw Covina. I'll have to get the flyer. I'll put it on Instagram.
Yeah, perfect. So. And we'll point you there. All right. Thanks so much for coming on, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
This was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Thank you, Travis. Any final thoughts, parting words?
Islam is the true religion.
I'll take it.
Sorry.
Allah Akbar. All right. We'll see you next week.